Welcome one and all, Nyanko here, along with Maple today, who is joining me kindly for this review. And we're here to talk about one of well, it's a manga, but it kind of interlocks with another manga. Ow! And it also is part of the Clamp universe, and if that's not giving you any hints, I am here today to talk about Tsubasa Reservoir Chronicles, if I could pronounce anything. So, if you don't know what Tsubasa is another manga that's done by Clamp. It did get an anime adaptation, but it doesn't really cover all of the manga, which is kind of doing it such an injustice, and it kind of is one of those ones where people are just not really bothered to keep up with it kind of thing. So yeah, the main premise of Tsubasa is we meet Sakura, different Sakura to Cardcaptor Sakura, and Lee, different Lee to Cardcaptor, or Sharon, who are in their world. So Sakura in this world is a princess, and then Lee is an archaeologist, and they've been childhood friends, and they're in love with each other, and Lee comes back from a dig site because there's these old ruins, and Sakura comes and finds him and is like, "Oh, Lee, let's go hang out." And she's like, "I'm going to confess my feelings to him," because she's in love with him. And then she doesn't get the chance to do it then, and then she goes back to the castle and she's like, "I will do it. I am going to do it," kind of thing. And then it never ends up happening because later that night she ends up hearing a bell noise. She gets kind of taken to the ruins. Lee goes to try and save her, and the events that unfold end up sending them on a journey there to recollect the feathers that contain Sakura's memories so that she won't die. And what they have to do is they have to travel between the worlds and dimensions even, to recover those feathers. And those feathers have great power because it turns out Sakura's got a lot of magical power, kind of like the other Sakura. And along the way they end up meeting Fide, Flowrite and Kurogane, who are also running for different reasons. Well, not really running. One is running and one is wanting to return. And when they all meet up with Yuko at Yuko's shop, because it crosses over a lot with Holics, they all decide that they realise that travelling together suits both of them, to team up with Sakura and Lee. Sakura being unconscious and Lee being, "I must protect my princess." So Fai doesn't want to return to his world. He wants to run away. And Kurogane wants to return to his world. And the way that it works is Yuko's like, "Well, if you all pay the price, then there you go." So Fai gets his wish. He gives up a tattoo on his back, and he hopefully won't return to his world. Kurogane gives up his sword, and that's his payment for being able to jump to worlds, and hopefully one of the worlds they jump to will be his own. And then Lee has to give up his relationship with Sakura for the ability to jump through worlds. So it doesn't matter how many memories they return, Sakura will never remember him. Hello, yes, hello. I know, it's very sad, isn't it? Maple doesn't like that part of the story. She thinks it's very sad, and she's like, they have to be together. But then as they go along and they start collecting more memories, Sakura slowly starts to wake up more, and she does end up re-falling in love with Sharon, even though Sharon never tells her who he is to her, kind of thing. He's just like, "You're my princess, and I'm serving you, and I cannot let you die." You also see a lot of other characters from Clamp come back into it. So you've got Tomoyo, who is the princess in Kurogane's world, who sent him away, and he's desperately trying to get back to her because he's like her samurai servant. We see Toya, and we see Yukito, who, is Sakura's brother and his best friend / boyfriend. There's other characters that you meet along the way, but then as you're going along and they're jumping through the worlds, you start realising that there's a big bad in the background. Enter the big bad and his assistant, who are manipulating the events because they want the ability to travel through time and space, which is Sakura's power, basically, because he wants to save someone that was very dear to him that died. And then we have other bad guys in it, like you've got Kyle, and then you've also got another guy who's chasing these two vampires who you meet in later on in the manga anyway. so the twin vampires, I can't remember the name. I think it's Subaru. Oh, what's the other twin? Yeah, it'll be underneath their names anyway. And they're running from a vampire slayer who's basically not really a slayer. He's hunting them down because he wants their immortality. And that plays in with a storyline that happens with Faye and Kurogane, who become friends throughout the journey, even though they hate each other in the beginning. Well, Faye doesn't hate him. Kurogane hates Faye, and Faye just loves to prank Kurogane, I'd say is the best thing to say. Yeah. So yeah, that's the premise of the story. Now, the anime doesn't fully adapt the story, and it leaves out a big chunk of it. So you got like the main series, you've then got the movie, you've then got the OVA series, and then it jumps again, but it jumps past one of the main plot points, which is Faye's background, which for me was absolutely crazy, because that's one of my favourite arcs in the manga, was finding out more about Faye, his backstory, his reasoning for getting where he is, and stuff like that. Another plot point that I really like is when it's intersecting with Holics. So as you get further through the manga, if you don't also keep up with the Holics manga, you can be a little bit like, oh, what's going on here? Because there's bits where Sakura crosses over with Watanuki, and then you've also got other bits where Shaoran crosses over with Watanuki, and it's all interweaved and intricate, but it's so good and it's so well done. There's nothing dropped, like there's no ball dropped between the two mangas. And I will be going into an in-depth Holics manga review later as well. There is actually more of it that people don't know about. So Holics and Tsubasa both have second series. So the first mangas end off. I quite like where they end off. In one sense, it's nicely tied up and everything like that. And then they started off on a new manga, and again, both mangas are interweaving and stuff, and they're still ongoing as far as I'm aware. I'm not up to date on all of them yet. I'm still slowly reading through them, and I like to let them build up so that I can just binge read a bit. But yeah, I absolutely adore Tsubasa. Now, I did originally start reading the manga when I was like 11 or something. A friend was like, oh, you like the cartoony things from Japan, and I've got the booky things from Japan. Let's, trade and swap and talk. So I think it wasn't my very first manga, but it was one of the first ones that made me intrigued. And it was really fun to read, and I loved the storyline, but it kind of went a bit over my head. And then I got a big lot crate of it off of eBay, going back a couple of years now, and I started reading through them again, and the plot points that went over my head when I was a kid, I was like, oh my god, this is so good. So yeah, I'm not going to go too much into spoiler territories if you haven't read the manga, just because you have to read it and enjoy it for yourself to kind of get the full picture. I really love the twists and the turns and the way that Clamp write, to be honest. I love all of their works, and I love their art style. So yeah, I'm kind of a sucker for anything Clamp, going back to, my childhood with Cardcaptor Sakura, and then, I got into Tsubasa, and I got into Holics, and I got into X as well. That was one of their ones. I also got into, what was it called? Oh, Kobito. I like that. I think that was an anime only, though. I'm not sure if there was a manga to that. I'd have to remember. But no, I do like Tsubasa. A lot of people don't bother with it because they're just like, it's just Cardcaptor Sakura all over again. But it really isn't. It's the same looking characters, but it's not the same world. It's not the same kind of magic. Now, Clary does come into it as well, but like I said, everybody's like interwoven and they come into it, and it's its own unique premise and its own unique setting. So if you've been put off of it because you just think it's another Cardcaptor like spin-off, please do try it, because it's not. It's its own thing. It's amazing. It will make you cry. It will make you laugh. It's even got the cute mascot Mokona character, who's like the brother to the other Mokona that you see in Holics, and just, guys, you have to go see it or read it. I wouldn't recommend the anime as much as I would recommend the manga, though, because the thing with the manga is you get the entire story from beginning, middle and end. You get the entire overarching plot points. You don't have things that are left out. You don't have things that are missing. So you're not left kind of questioning, oh, wait, what? Did I miss something? But no, I would actually recommend the OVA series. That's true. And I mean, it's a nice watch. Like season 1 and 2 covers some of the plot points from the story, and it does introduce you to all the characters, and I know where they were going with it. It was just an advertisement for go read the manga, really. It was one of those animes where it's like, oh yeah, this is what we've kind of got going on, but you know, if you want the full story, go read the manga. You know, there's some animes like that out there that are really good at it being like, go read the manga, and then there's the ones that are like, oh, tidbits dangling, do, and then you're kind of like, I may as well give the manga a go, because I'm not overly fussed on how they're doing this. Now, I will admit the second half of season 2 is really good. It does start getting into a lot of the manga points and some of the more nitty gritty stuff. The first season is a bit more chibi and cute and just kind of go with the flow. But that was something that I did like about the manga. Some worlds are a lot tougher and a lot harsher to get through, and other worlds are very chill and they're very simple and it's just kind of easy, you know, because you can't have the main characters constantly going through life and death situations all the time and not giving them a chance to rest. So like, I did like that as well, and to be fair to the anime adaptation, it does do very good at that, of being like, yeah, this is what's, you know, this is the manga stuff, but not all of it. So second half of season 2 really grips you. Then you've got the OVA series, which is about like an alternative like neo kind of apocalypse Tokyo, which kind of gives Sakura a lot more development. I really do like how by that point Sakura has enough feathers back that she can function without constantly having to go back to sleep. You know, there's like I said, all of the characters have got really well built stories, and really well built in the terms of backstory and progression, and not going back on themselves too much. You know, everyone's got their plot points, their driving points, and it all comes together, and it's just, it's a good story. And now I'm wanting to go and reread it again, because I like to reread my favourite mangas like once or twice every so often. Like it might not be every year, but it might be every couple of years. I'll be like, oh, I haven't read this in a while, and I'll pick it up, and oh, there went my weekend. So now I highly recommend Tsubasa Chronicles. Good storytelling, compelling, enough intrigue and twists and turns that you don't always see everything coming. Cute romance plot points. There's a little bit of weirdness in it, because it wouldn't be Clamp if there wasn't a little bit of weirdness in it. But other than that, I'm not going to spoil any of that, because like you have to read it to find out for yourselves. But yeah, other than that, you know, there's not much more I can say on it. I absolutely adore it. It's amazing. Go read it. If you have already read it, tell me about what your favourite characters were, or your favourite moments were in the comments down below. What was your favourite twist and turn, without it being too spoilery for people who haven't seen it. But yeah, if you haven't seen it and you go and watch it, like I say, because you've like seen this video and it's like been like, ooh, I might give that a try, let me know what you thought of it down below after you finish it. But other than that, my kittens, I'm going to give you all of my love. Maple as well. Are you going to say bye-bye? Maple's going to say bye-bye too. Yes, we're going to give them all of our love. All of our love. And we will see you in the next one, kittens. Oh, what else do we have to say to them? Oh yes, eat something, drink something, and don't forget your medications if you're on them. Yeah? Yeah. Bye everybody. Love you. Au revoir.